Howdy, y'all. I am in the mood for a telltale video today. I've had a little bit of problem with my editing thing for my video, so that's why I didn't get one up here any sooner. I got it all straightened out, so now I'm going to do a video. My video for today, I'm doing a telltale. I had to tell off on my mother and my Uncle Johnny. Of course, I know the last one that I did on them, I mentioned about when they were kids and they had fooled their parents into getting them some ice cream. Well, this one is a little bit different. It's not really kind of a naughty thing. It's just like something really, really cool. The story probably won't take too long. But of course, then again, knowing me, I could probably drag it out and make it a little longer. But anyways, the Tattletale video. Right after World War II, of course, my grandfather still had the family in California. I believe it was right after his grandmother had died, Tafina. She'd passed away. They took her back to Kansas. Buried her next to her husband there in Liberal, and one of her sons and one of her daughters. So they were all back there in Liberal, and Grandpa had decided at some point that he was going to move the family. It was, I want to say, I can't remember the dates. I want to say it was either 1951 or 52. It was the early 50s for certain. Might have been 53, but anyways, they were getting ready to go from California back to Texas. Now, remember, quite some time ago, in fact, it was one of my first videos, I had discussed the fact that my mother and my uncle had both been born in the same town, even though the town was weirdly split. It was like half of it was in Dalham County and half of it was in Hartley County, and so they called it Dalhart. So it was one of those nice little places that sit on a dividing line. So anyways, they hadn't, my Uncle Johnny had been born there, of course, as well as my mother, but my uncle was probably less than a year old when they moved from Dalhart, moved everybody to California out there where my grandfather was working with the teaching the Rosie the Riveters and all of them, how to do their job. So they'd been out there, since at least the early 40s. I'm going to say, let's see, Uncle Johnny was born in 1942, I think. 37, 38, 39. Yeah, about 42. He was born 42, so it was sometime after 42, maybe into 43, when they moved over there. So they're in California. Grandpa's like, well, let's go ahead and let's move back. It runs in my mind, if I remember the story right, it runs in my mind that his brother Neil had already moved back and he was living in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Technically, he was living in Fort Worth, if my memory is holding right on this. So my mom, Uncle Johnny, their parents, Grandma and Grandpa, they all decided, well, let's go live over there close to Neil. Let's go live in the same area Neil's in. So my grandfather was a bit of a ingenious man. He really kind of thought things through. So he went to a World War II surplus Army-Navy store. He found a big old transport truck. One of those really, really big hulking things that had the slat sides on it and everything. So he bought one of those big Army trucks, and he made a modern day covered wagon. Grandpa was pretty ingenious. I think I'm getting in case y'all are wondering what this is, I think I'm getting feedback from a glare from a truck over there. It's, my truck is glaring through the window. I usually don't do these at this time of day, so I'm looking. I kept thinking, where is that coming from? So, like I said, if I got a dark strip right here, it's because my thing here is covering the glare off of my truck outside. That's okay. I can go with it. I don't mind, since I just figured out it. I kept looking, thinking, what is that? Okay, I'm sorry. I chased a rabbit. Let's get back on the thing for the story. Grandpa turned this big Army surplus truck into a modern-day covered wagon. He got some tarp. You know, they had a lot of tarp and stuff that you could buy there as well. And of course, she said he put bows across the top of the slats and across the cab. You know, so that way it was kind of bowed over, really making it look like a covered wagon. So she said that he got that all nice and covered, and what he decided to do was he took, of course, they put all their household goods, you know, stove, furniture, things like that in there, the boxes of things that they were going to take with them back to Texas. And then he took the mattresses. They had a bunch of mattresses, and he put he put several of them in the bed, but he put one of them over the cab of the truck and got it kind of tied down so it wouldn't go anywhere. And of course, that, like I said, had the tarp over that. And okay, this is going to blow the minds of people who are under a certain age, but there used to be a time when you could ride in a truck in the back of it. Okay, that, I know that was a long time ago for a lot of y'all. For me, I can remember doing it a lot whenever I was a child. I can remember sitting in the back of a truck and just riding around in the back of it and having a good time. In fact, I remember one year for a birthday, me and some friends of mine, we were sitting on a tailgate. My dad's driving down the road. What's funny is the cop pulled up behind us, and we're all like, "Hi, Mr. Cop, hi!" You know, and he waved back at us because it was not illegal and he could not pull us over. Now, if my dad was driving recklessly and throwing kids off the back, yeah, that would have been a different story altogether. But it wasn't. He was, excuse me, he was driving as he should, and so. You know, like I said, there used to be a time when you could ride in the back of a truck. You didn't have to be strapped in with 50 million straps. So my mother, or my grandmother and grandfather were riding in the cab, and my mother and my uncle were riding on top of the cab on the mattress my grandfather tied down to the cab of the truck. Okay, I'm right now. I'm hearing so many people's minds going, "What? Oh no! Yeah, they did that back then. I mean, it was a different time. People weren't driving 90 to nothing down the road. I mean, most people probably drove between 40 to 50, maybe 60. You know, they didn't drive very fast. And of course, this was a big Army truck, so I mean, not a lot of people are going to be aiming at it. And also, too, there was not a lot of traffic on the roads yet. We had not reached the point at that point in time in our American history when you had big cars, you had fast cars, or you even had a lot of cars. You know, people had not gotten out on the road yet. So, I mean, you know, like I said, it was a much different time. So, like I said, Grandpa gets them in there. Mom and Uncle Johnny are laying on the cab of the truck. Okay, that's where they rode at. They rode on the cab of the truck. Now, they had a signal system set up in case something happened and Mama or Uncle Johnny felt like, you know, they needed to pull the truck over, like had to go to the bathroom, or something was going wrong, something had happened, and they needed Grandma and Grandpa. So the signal was tapping the top of the roof. Pretty simple, right? So they're going along. They leave California, and where they were at in California, they were. I want to say they were in the northern part. Lake country is what seems to run in my mind, where they were living at the time. But anyways, they are driving from California. They're driving back home to Texas, and they go through Utah. They're going along. They come over this hill, this nice hill. All of a sudden, in the cab, Grandma and Grandpa hear, Mama and Uncle Johnny were going nuts. They were beating the top of that truck. My grandfather was laughing because he knew why they were beating the top of that truck. See, when they came over that hill, they came out on the Great Salt Flats. Okay, I've seen pictures. I've never been there in person. I know that they have the Bonham Great Salt Flat races or something like that. I can't remember exactly what they're called, but they have some races there, and it's a big plain of salt dirt or salty sand. It's not. It's not like dirt. It's not like red dirt or anything like that. It's called the Salt Flats because it's pretty much salty. If I remember my history right, it is believed that at one time there was a very large body of water in that area, and that the water evaporated and left the minerals behind, and of course the minerals were the salts that they have there now, that they now know as the Salt Flats. So, just a little bit of kind of history, geography, whatever you would call that, science lesson right there. So they think at one time that the Salt Flats used to be, a giant lake. But like I said, they come over the hill, Mama and Uncle Johnny, they see that, and they're going nuts. They're going nuts. And of course, Grandpa knows what they want. They think they're seeing snow. They got these hot temperatures, and all of a sudden they come over this hill and they see all that white. Okay, they didn't know the Salt Flats existed yet, and so they're thinking, snow, 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 pull over, we gotta go play in the snow. I know Mama said that it took Grandpa a little bit. He finally pulled over simply for the fact he was tired of hearing them bang on the top there. So they get pulled over, and he lets them get out. And Mama said she was a little bit disappointed that it wasn't snow. She was really wanting it to be snow. She wanted to make a snowball, and so she was a little bit disappointed, but said Uncle Johnny seemed to enjoy, playing with the salty dirt there, and picking it up and messing with it. So he did have a little bit of fun, a little bit more than my mom did. But yeah, so back then, like I said, they didn't have the knowledge of the things like they do now. They didn't know that things like the Salt Flats existed. I always love that story because, like I said, I probably would have been the same way, because I was a fully grown. My wild heathen child. One of my wild heathen childs. Yeah, he's been on a little bit of a tear here, so I'm going to put my hand on the tripod to make sure he doesn't knock it over. He almost stood there a moment ago. But anyways, yeah, so when I didn't know what the Salt Flats were until I was an adult. So, I probably would have been the same way. I'd been like, oh my word, I gotta go out there, I gotta go play in that. I would have been just as disappointed as my mom was One got out there and it was nothing but dirt, sand, crusty sand. I would not have been happy. But that's what happens when you're crossing an area that you're not familiar with, and you see something that you don't know what it is. I can imagine the first people to see an ocean, actually seeing it out there. It's like, I mean, that's it's probably the same thing, or seeing a giant mountain having never seen one before, or like something like a giant desert like the Sahara or the Great American Desert. Seeing something like that you haven't seen, and you're not sure what it is. It's like you see nothing but sand, or you see nothing but water, or you see nothing but the salt flats. That would be a pretty wild experience. That would be pretty cool to get to see and get to experience. But anyway, so like I said, just a little story, and for those of you, somebody's fighting. I don't know if y'all heard that there, but that was pretty loud here. But yeah, a couple of the fuzzies are over there fighting with each other. They got a little bit disgruntled. Yeah, but anyway, so as I said, it's just a little something, a little tattletale that I wanted to do on my mother and my uncle, because, like I said, I love that story, and I keep picturing, the top look of a covered wagon over a truck. Yeah, my grandfather really was pretty ingenious with a lot of things. There's a lot of stuff that he figured out how to do it, and things to do, and I swear that man could do anything he set his mind to. I mean, he really could. Yeah, and I'm just sorry. In case y'all are wondering, this right here is actually the shadow of the fan. Yeah, so I'm getting all sorts of crazy stuff being shined at me here, and it's all coming off of my truck. But anyway, so that's really it. I hope y'all have a great day, and it'll be just a couple of weeks now, and I will be in Ireland. Oh my word, I am so excited. And then I will have, hopefully, a ton of videos. Some of the videos I wanted to do, it looks like I might not get to do them. One in particular that I really, really wanted to do. Basically, what it comes down to is I wanted to rent a car. The problem is I tried going through the process, and you have to have almost $2,000 on a credit card. My big problem is that it took me 15 years to find a credit card that I could get delivered to this place where I'm at. 15 years, and that's not long enough to build up any kind of a credit, I mean, especially close to $2,000, I mean, I think my limit is like a 200, I might be able to get it up to 300, but 2,000? Yeah, it's kind of like they're like, no, ain't gonna happen. So, since the car rental agencies want such a large amount, and I can't even give them hardly a fraction of that, then that means that I can't get to Cookstown. And that was one of the places I really wanted to go. Cookstown, there is not a rail system that goes up to it. I might luck out in some way and be able to find a bus, but I am not going to say for certain that I will be able to. Hello. That's one of my boys there. That's Stan the man. He needed a little attention. But anyway, so yeah, I'm not. It looks like I'm not going to get to do Cookstown. and like I said, I really wanted to because I had a relative buried there. But unless I can make friends very quickly with someone in Ireland and get them to drive me over there, then it looks like it's not going to happen. But if I can get everything figured out, sorry, got a message coming in. If I can get everything figured out correctly with the timing of trains and stuff, I might be able to get out to Coleraine. So who knows? One way or the other, I'm going to get at least Coleraine, because like I said, the way that I'm going to have to take the trains, and coming up from the airport, I go to Antrim, and then I can catch a train at Antrim and take that around to Derry, to stay at Derry, and the train actually goes by Coleraine, so I can get to Coleraine. You know, like I said, it's just going to be trying to get the timing figured out for that one. Like I said, I'd really love to do Cookstown, but without a vehicle and without knowing anyone for certain that can say, yeah, sure, I'll take you, ain't gonna happen. But anyways, I will try and get other videos. I'll try and figure out some other cool things to get videos of, so that way I can show it to y'all. And until then, I hope everyone has a great day, and I will talk to y'all later.